How are you? Oh,
Are you using a computer video or are you using a separate? You have a
uh, why is it okay?
looking very good. That's why.
No, it's just the computer. It's just the Mac, and I've just put a small ring light on the right on this side because it's quite dark. I mean, UK though here it'll be like okay, but the thing is that it's it then looks very dark, and then my right hand side just looks completely dark. So,
Yeah,
so then Rishabh Bhaiya would tell me, because for the videos that I do for India Today, they tweak it, they light it up.
correct,
But live,
correct.
then Rishabh then told me you order this and you place it on the right hand side. So I'm very happy that you
Inside,
think it.
yeah, very good.
So
Let me put this into a silent mode.
it's so good to see you.
Yeah.
Santoshji, do you think we'll be done by like 11:30 sharp?
We should wind up. Yes.
Because it's so interesting when we did that, because you're my guru, you're my darling. And so what happens is it's also 2611. It's 2611, right? And so there's and I work with the Nehru Center,
Ah,
and they do a lot of, so we're having sort of day-long events. Of course they're aware that I'm doing this, but just
yeah, yeah.
I
Wind
thought I'll
up.
be, no, but it's just, when I'll start talking, and then, but
Yeah.
I loved everything that you were saying. But I'm going to ask you so many questions too, because so many people would want to learn.
Catch
We'll
that
just
wave.
free
Yeah.
flow.
So when I was
And
thinking about this yesterday, I found that one of the most natural things in the world is transition, whether we transition from one weather to another weather, winter will now go away, the day moves to night. But at this, so one side it is natural. At the same time, transitions create anxiety
yeah, so
because
I guess the predictable transitions are okay. They're
yeah,
okay with that. Okay, then I want to be married. I want to have a child. The
yeah,
one,
yeah.
but
Remember
when it,
our discussion, was it with you? Even there, that excitement is a kind of anxiety. Both are same energy.
yeah, you said that beautifully.
Yeah. For
But
me,
that's a fantastic point that you must tell the
yeah,
listeners, that we sort of get so nervous with that nervous anxiety, like going on stage. But if it, on a
that's
vibrational
right.
level, it's actually very much the same about meeting your beloved
That's
or
right.
getting an award. You're sort of sweating. It's the same physical
Correct, correct.
attributes that you go through. So that was amazing what you said.
Yeah.
Gee. But then I also want to bring in, I don't know how you will. Also, I was thinking that our team, there could be some uh, 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 like a segment which could become the Mindful Monday next episode.
Hmm.
So,
Yep.
will they be able to edit it so that right now I see you as small and me as big, but could they make us equal?
I am
Could you,
bad in these techniques, but I'm sure there could be because I see people putting up all
well,
kind of stuff.
so could you tell, you must let your team know now,
Yeah.
that we will then tell them, and then you can decide that, hey, this part was great, because I do this show
Hmm.
called Mindful Mondays, which is sort of really globally doing well where the NRIs are concerned, and Indians settled in India as well. So it could be any, we could talk about finite, infinite mindset. What is mindfulness? You were the one who just told me, Rags, this is what you need to take your journey on. You so I could also ask you that, you sort of change personalities.
Hmm.
Uh, so you could tell
We
your
could bring
assistant now
that because
that
though when
please
I
make
yeah,
sure that we have Santoshi and Rags equal. It
correct.
can't be me big and you small, because it's equal. And then I'll ask you a question, and somewhere along the show, I'll ask you this question. Um,
Yep.
I was thinking of asking you as to, people are watching Mindful Mondays, and and they are all keen to change. Everybody wants to change. They sort of are aware that they want to change. They have anxiety, or they have a temper, they want to be a better husband, better wife, all of that. What are the three top tips you can give someone if they want to change their personality? So that
Great.
could be something,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
जो आप आंसर करेंगे, so that could be a snippet. It can be like
Segment.
a 5 minute, 6 minute episode.
Yep, yep, yep.
So
And when I
once,
mentioned about acceptance at a very philosophical level, mindfulness is all about accepting in that present moment, because I can do change in the next moment. But this moment, what are we going to be mindful about anyway? Because without that question, mindfulness per se is of no use.
wow.
What do I be mindful about? So there are only two things we can be mindful about, is that in the present moment right now, whatever is going on, without judgment, without the need to change that, can I be mindful about it? That's the only thing one could do. Yeah. So let me check with my guy if we can do this, the
Anji,
video
Anji,
thing. I'll
that
just tell
would be
him that we have
amazing. And
joined. Yeah.
Anji, I'm just going to drink some. I'm going to just get a glass of water.
Yeah, yeah.
And tell Sudhanshu, he's in the study. So I'm going to
Yeah.
tell the bigger child to be quiet.
Yeah. आवाज मत कर लेना ज्यादा मैं थोड़ा आप लोग का ना ले लिए फिर मैं ये बंद करते हैं उधर 1 घंटे के लिए Gundeep, now when you see, are you seeing my video and Raageshwari's video on the same size?
Same size as in Santosh didn't get you.
How are you seeing the screen now?
So I'm seeing you in the center now since you're speaking,
Ah,
and I can see Rageshwari on the top on the
Wait,
small
wait,
thumbnail.
wait. 1 second. I'm just
okay.
answering someone, and then.
Yeah, because when initially what Rageshwari was saying, that she was able to see her like a full screen, and my video was like a small thumbnail on the top. Is there a way that both of our video in the same size?
I think what Gundeep is saying, um, that Gundeep, why we're saying this is that while we're doing this live, that'll go perfectly. But during
Mm.
a segment, I mean, there'll be lots that, could be made into episodes. So
Yep.
will you be able to edit it later, as in we both become equal? Or Santoshi is larger? Because he will be answering where because where the episode is concerned, I'll post the question, and then Santoshi will be answering.
Yeah. So I think in terms of the software, Zoom is like that. Whoever is speaking gets the center stage, so we'll have a larger screen. So whenever
Uh-huh.
Santosh is replying, he'll anyways come in the like the middle of the screen.
But we see these
Why don't
people posting Gunti, both peoples in an equal size video and all. How do they do that?
they do that
Uh,
on live stream?
yes.
Mm.
So there are different.
When Santoshi and I do, we next time we should do this live, post it on our Facebook. They have that live stream and people comment while we're talking. It's fabulous, Santoshi.
Yep.
Mm. Mm.
While so your people are commenting, and then Gundeep can see, oh, this. I mean, most of the comments are great. So all the comments keep coming while we're talking. It's very interactive, lots of fun things like backstage, all of that. Anyways, all of that later. Gundeep, Santoshi is looking hazy. Am I looking
Mm.
hazy as well? Because I want to make sure live, of course, but I also want to make sure that that episode looks bright.
Yeah.
Is
Yep.
Santoshi
So
looking hazy just for me or for you as well? Just
uh, for me as well, Rageshwari, I think your video is perfect. It's clear. I
can
Mm.
think
we
the camera module
can
needs
we
to
help
be.
Guruji? Can we help Guruji's video?
Let me
I
see.
I think it will be. There might be some stains on the camera. If you can just remove
Clean
it
it
with
up.
a cloth. Yeah.
Clean it up. Let's trouble Santoshi. Maybe even more cleaner background. You should
Yeah.
be sitting
Also,
out
a bit dark.
in the garden, Santoshi.
Ah, now it's better.
Clean it up more.
Yeah, so you can see.
No, no, much more. Just the camera. Just the camera.
Yeah,
Clean it up more. Yeah, that's perfect.
yeah, that's right.
That's
So
perfect.
the guru is back with the light.
Hi, how are
Hi.
you?
Hi, pretty good. How about you?
All
Hi,
well.
Rakeshwari.
Hi, Maheshwari. Lovely to see you. I was I
Pleasure,
was
pleasure. Same here.
I was
Yes.
also thinking, do you think Santoshi could be
Yeah,
in
I
a
can also
different
see
background
now.
where it's just plain instead of
Dad,
the
could
green
you try
curtain?
again?
That's the only option Santoshi has. See, I trouble Santoshi so much. No, I'm only telling you about the look, the backdrop.
Okay. You have 6 more minutes to go.
Okay, fine. I'm going to keep this away.
Now I can see you on the main screen and also there on the top thumbnail, I can see your video there.
And now I see a whole lot of other people. So
Yes. Yes.
Gundeep, when we actually need the content just for the Mindful Mondays, there will just be Santosh ji and me, right?
We can
And
edit the
not
video. Yeah, we can edit
so
the
Yeah.
then
video.
we don't have so many boxes. Yes, lovely. And then it does not even matter that
Mm.
you put me and then put Santosh ji full screen, then again me, whatever, whoever's talking. As
Mhm.
long as we are able to do that.
That
Okay,
can happen.
lovely. Lovely, lovely.
Basically, Gulteep, Raageshwari does a program for India Today, right? Is that correct? Called Mindful
Yes.
Monday or
Mindful
something? Yeah.
Mondays.
So she has a
Yes.
feeling that something that we discuss
Could
could
be
become part of
relevant.
that.
Yes. Like some
Got
of the
Yeah.
so interesting. I have to ask you this. Would you believe it? The maximum request. So I did this video that divorce is not bad. Like what? They get so surprised because I seem like a good girl, which you know I am, which we have to talk about. But they want to talk about, can
Yeah.
you talk about mindfulness where extramarital affairs are concerned? Divorce is concerned. It's so
Yeah.
interesting. You see, there's so much pain.
So I'll give you a
In
tip.
the show, not now, not now.
Okay. Yeah.
When we, I don't want our lovely listeners to miss on anything.
Yeah.
Lovely. So, it's just a whole lot of my friends are joining as well. I'm sure they. So we don't. You get to know who's already here. I don't, right?
You can also see that you can see there if you go to the chat or participants, click on it.
Oh, I'm I'm not
Well,
going to click on anything right now. I'm just happy when I can be heard.
right.
I've somehow, uh, I feel so positive with you. You know, when, you know, it's been such a tough last,
I know.
uh, so
True.
anyway,
Such a
we'll
sad thing
see where
about
I will.
Asif, right? Do you remember Asif in our mindfulness
I,
retreat? That-
oh,
The guy who came in the bike from, yeah,
you know, and
yeah,
Santoshi, he was very much in touch with Sudhanshu and me. He was in touch with
yeah,
us, but it's so yeah.
yeah,
But then Santoshi, you and me have always, and I've learned so much from you, and I can see that in my life now. I mean, the last 3 months since July, when Papa
mm,
went through what he did, and then when he crossed over. I mean, I put on my makeup and I'm here, but I mean, you
mm,
know, I have dreadful
yeah,
mornings, I have dreadful evenings, and I'm in tears, and I really didn't know that I can cry so much, that I have so many tears. So the person standing next to me will never know when I go and fetch Samaya from her school. I'm with my hat and my coat, and I'm like, hello. And so you go on with life. But that's where you say it so beautifully, that I'm mindful that this is how I'm feeling, but this is where I need to go. So not
yeah,
that,
yeah.
so not that terrible positivity, but optimism that
That's
I
right.
know what I'm
Yeah,
going
yeah.
through, but I'll G.
Correct, correct.
You've been well. How's your lovely daughter?
Your voice was slightly dragging. Was it for me, my connection, or for
Can you
others
hear
also?
me?
Yeah, now I could. But
Oh,
in
you
between,
could?
there was some little bit of a lag. Let me say if people can type in the chat box where you did also feel the same.
My goodness, really? Can they hear me
Yeah.
now? I'm so.
Nidhi also says, yeah.
But
Happens all over the world sometimes. Suddenly that bandwidth, yeah, it was breaking a bit.
it's even now it's breaking a bit.
Now, now it's okay.
Oh, let me not get too excited. This is what happens
Now
when
you
most
just
excited.
now you
Oh,
just make sure that you don't break anybody's heart. Internet will not break.
oh, gone are the days of breaking hearts now.
Yeah, that's
But you know who you must do a chat with is Farah Khan, because I love her so much. She's so funny. She's so funny. She was like,
I like
affairs.
her energy. I mean,
Oh, she's amazing. Affairs? Of course. Now is the time for affairs. Like, that's a cute man, or that's a cute woman. Listen, after 5 years of marriage, after 15 years of marriage, you'll get attracted to anyone. So
uh,
everyone. So, which is so interesting and so true.
whatever we are speaking now is unofficial. Okay, we haven't started.
Oh, it's absolutely official.
Just
Absolutely official.
tries to say that man and woman, what lovely creatures of God, but gone when they become husband and wife.
But Santoshji, you guided me so well to marry a twin soul. Would you believe it's 6 years and we've still not argued? I know you give the credit to him,
Yeah.
but yeah, I feel that there's a very interesting connection I have with Sudhanshu. Just sort of complete acceptance of the child that I am.
And also someone who is, what I told last time, he's one person who can hold two polarities together. He can easily live in the worldly, materialistic, he can do
Yeah,
what is required to do
correct.
without really being attached with that.
How beautifully you said. You're right. So he does his commercial work so that we can
Yeah,
live.
very well. And he does it well,
Yeah,
but at the same time, he
but
can
his
just,
heart is.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
तेच घे मॅट तिथे टाकून दे.
All right, for everybody who has joined on time, because of the internet connectivity and people just walking in, we'll just wait for 2 more minutes and we'll kick off. Somebody is saying, Rax, that he or she, I can't figure out because it's from my phone. I love your mindful Mondays. So you have a fan who is watching this program already. A mind-
Thank, thank you. It's for you. So I'm so happy. It's for you.
because I also I still haven't learned how to talk to a camera. So I have to see the chat. I have to see people. So I'm looking there more. So one of my
You
biggest
are
transition I had to do when this COVID stuck and our work got changed into the online space is to learn to speak to a camera, because I always believe that the listener in you creates the speaker in me. And within that absence, there is no speaker in me.
yeah.
And here, then I was just trying to speak to a camera, which was tough, but I've learned now. So what helps me is that I keep looking at the chat box, I keep looking at the people names, and almost visualizing people there, and that makes it easier for me to talk.
Yeah, of course.
But the moment the whole thing about either silver screen or a big screen is that ability to talk to the camera.
Ah.
Somebody's, I think they need to mute their phone, mute their audio.
I will see who is that. Yeah, if you could just log in and mute yourself, please.
Mute yourself. So, G, yes, what you said was lovely. True.
Yeah, I can as a host also
So
mute.
you're in Kerala right now, isn't it, Santoshji?
No,
Wow.
I'm in Delhi, outskirts of Delhi.
Really? Okay.
I was planning to move to Coorg, so
Mm.
I'll wait for a while now. Once the situation becomes slightly better.
I've been to Coorg, and are you aware the director of Joji the Voi Sikandar, right?
Hmm.
So, Khan,
Yeah.
and he is like a very, very wonderful director. He made Kayamat Se Kayamat Tak. And at the peak of his career, he left everything and he shifted to Coorg and he makes cheese there.
Wow.
I took children, and my niece was a baby then, and I took them on a holiday to Coorg, and I said, "Lovely, let's go and see how they make cheese." There's this family. That's his wife is from Goa, and I see him wearing a hat, looking so wonderful, so happy, and it would surprise people. Right? That's what life is. It would surprise people in the social definitions of what he gave up everything to come and make
Yeah,
cheese.
yeah,
But that's what following your bliss is.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, because nobody tells us, hey, go and make cheese, it'll make you happy. But
Yeah.
interesting, internally, you'll see all the actors say, oh, you're so lucky, you can do this. Oh, when I want to shift, be in the outskirts, I'm like, you can do it. You
Yeah.
can do it.
I think COVID also taught me that it's possible now to operate from any part of the world. And I foresee something called a reverse migration happening, where educated people who otherwise was just living in big cities really trying to move back to the roots if they are from certain villages or certain places, and figuring out if they could survive, be there, and do something there.
Yeah.
Because
Cool.
it's like almost like a pause button.
Thank
Okay,
you.
it's
Thank
four
you.
or five. We should start.
All yours.
Uh, Yogish, we've started. We are talking, and others can hear you. I don't know why you can't hear us. That's you're not seeing the chat, right? So I can read some for you.
I'm
Hi, we can hear you.
I can hear. Yogish said that he can't. Yamini wanted to say condolences
I
for.
read that.
Oh,
That's
you can read. Yeah.
thank you. No, I mean, but please do guide me if it's because I'm looking deep into Santosh ji's eyes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I love this old Doors song. Are you a favorite? Are you a fan of Doors music and the old
Yeah. Yes.
blues? One of the
Yes.
song is "Don't ever look into my eyes again." So it's called, this is the end.
You're such a Krishna. I'll tell everybody this guy. Santoshi is like Krishna, all the little girls who want to be into mindfulness and motivation would be around. Santoshi.
I know that's a Jim Morrison one. Correct.
Hi, Meghna.
Start. Great. It's my honor. It's my pleasure. I don't know how to say, though it's been in my mind for a while. When I finally decided to catch up and say we must do it,
Oh,
it's great pleasure to invite you for this program, and it's an honor for all the people. I see a lot of people who are our alumni who has gone through a program, or people who have been in touch. I'm still waiting some of the people whom you know. Thank you so much
thank
for
you.
agreeing and joining our family and wanting to do this. I obviously do not want to make this as a value for time kind of a session, because one of the things that happened during this COVID is that everybody has become an expert on what to do and what not to do. I really would love to keep this as much as informal as possible. It's a catch up, and we will love to catch up with each one of you here.
Yes.
It's not something that we can talk about specifics about how we wanted to manage the transition in life, while I will talk about everything that I know, everything that has worked for me in managing transition. And I'm sure Raageshwari will talk about everything that worked for her in managing transition. But this is not a master class.
Yeah.
This is a chit chat. We're informal. We're just catching up for a while. And we're grateful for all of you for joining in this informal chit chat. So that's where we are starting. Just a context setting. Transition is the most normal thing that happened in the world, in nature, in the universe. It's now winter in Delhi, will last maybe another 3-4 months. There will be a transition to a peak summer. We'll complain, Delhi, oh, yeah, it's too hot and too hot. And we will complain when it's too cold. Oh my God, it's too cold. And it will change into an autumn, spring, and even human growth itself, that we move from a childhood to a teenage and adulthood. There is transition. So one, it's natural. Two, it's also the most anxiety creating
Mhm.
or excitement. So that's the context in which we are looking at personal transition, organization transition, world transition. And I have seen you, Raageshwari, and I've also seen people in the entertainment industry or others have one life, one steady path. And I've seen you at different stages when life offered you something. I mean, life showed up in its way, you transitioned into multiple roles. And interestingly, you did all those roles beautifully. The only person whom I could think of who have done so well is Madonna.
Oh,
Yep.
wow. But
Right.
you must remind me of the amazing hypnosis you did with me, and I did say Madonna. Wow.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah. How she just actually at each stage
Goes with the flow.
reframed her image and her identity and her being. And you have done that. And we also see some people who have great challenge about this one identity, one role, one career, one thing they are. They feel so scared to move into something, a new space, a new place, a new career, new role, while we have done naturally transition throughout in our life.
So true.
So what's your magic sauce?
Oh.
How do you do
Thank
that?
you. Firstly, thank you for having me, Santoshji. Namaste, Assalamu alaikum. A big hello to everybody. It's an honor because Santoshji is my guru. So much that I've learned is thanks to Santoshji. He's really, really helped me, redefine myself and let go of fears. So that is the first thing, Santoshji. I feel that, right from a very young age, I did not have fears of money. because I come from such a simple family. People see me on MTV and they thought that, this is a New York return kid. They had no idea my father's in a simple government job. And I think one thing that they always taught us, and also I saw, was they were very happy with almost nothing. And most of the people who fear transitions are mostly because, my goodness, what's going to happen tomorrow? What about my money? What about my home? What about my career? Right? Most of the people who want to be an author, want to be a chef, or want to change the course of their life are stressed where that's concerned. And then you have various other issues as well. For me, I learned everything by default. I uh, when I started, I got into movies. My brother was working with Shekhar Kapoor. I got into movies. I actually wanted to be a comedian because that's what I love. Most of my awards in TV were because of these characters I would play. So I'm actually quite a fun cartoon. But and now I've just sort of have this image of being someone seriously into mindfulness. But I'm just a fun-loving child, I feel. Uh, so I got into TV, then I was in movies. Oh no, sorry, first movies and then TV. So by default, it changed because when I was in movies, like I said, I wanted to be a comedian and fun roles. They made me a heroine. Give me children, I know what to do with them. You give me a man, I feel embarrassed. I wouldn't know how to do the romantic scenes. I was very uncomfortable wearing the kind of clothes that I was sort of forced to wear, right? It was a very different environment then. The movies that I made, suddenly I would come on the set and the swimsuit. I'm like, oh my goodness, I came from such a protected environment that to wear a swimsuit seemed so racy. It still does. So I don't even know if people can even understand. Really? I was like that. I really was like that. And I'm bringing up Samaya totally differently now. She's quite the Madonna. So it was the lack of confidence I felt in the movie industry. I just wasn't confident being the sensual heroine. And mostly, if you're a heroine, then that's what you need to do. And I really didn't know. Couldn't find my place in the sun. And so when I got a call from MTV and Channel V that, hey, we've seen your interview. We like the way you talk. Would you like to be a VJ? I did not even know what's a VJ. I said, oh, you just talk about your favorite musicians. Great. I changed by default as if life took me. So the movie industry gives you really big paychecks, and TV was just getting there. But because I was so young, it didn't make a difference. And I told my parents, this is what I want to do. And they said, yeah, sure, go ahead. And I was so happy working in TV because I had like-minded people. It's not got to do with age. It's not got to do with men or women. I just had really like-minded people who gave me an environment to make mistakes. And that's what we'll talk about, right? Very important in leadership. And we're leaders, whether we have people working under us or no. I think we're just leaders. How are we leading our own life? Are we giving people that space, make mistakes? And that's what happened with TV for me. I got into music again by default. My father had made Dunya for Asha Bhosle ji. He'd given the CD. People are going to get stunned with this. So, and I would see my father. He'd won the national award. My beloved father, who's up in heaven now. And I would hear this amazing song, and I said, Papa, this is a great song. He said, yeah, I've sent it to Asha ji. I hope she likes it. And he'd won the national award. And he was struggling to find his foot in the industry. And I was growing where my career was concerned on TV. I was sort of this golden kid on TV. I had no idea. People would tell me, right? I would see the effect. But if I was just happy eating Maggie at home. And dad would tell me, you can sing, because I was sort of a bathroom singer and I would love to sing in school. And because Asha ji did not get back, I just did a simple song recording at home. This is so interesting. I don't think anybody knows this. I just did a recording at home. It turned out so good. Record companies loved it. We got Coca-Cola to then sponsor it. It just rolled. It just rolled. It just rolled. We then suddenly realized we shot the video in Maldives, but I was not in a swimsuit. And you know why? Because Rishabh was filming. I again got that beautiful freedom. My brother directed the video. Wow. Firstly, a director telling me, what would you like to wear? Wear that. What would you like to do? And I said, oh, this is my vision. And he said, great, I see this as a college girl. She's happy, she's free, she doesn't have too much money, she's happy to be with kids, she's drinking coconut, just simple. And and record companies said, what the hell is wrong with you? You're making a video like this? I mean, she's on the beach without a bikini. I mean, she's got these amazing lines about romance, but the video is not working. And this is what they said to Dunya. It's not going to work. We released Dunya on our own, and we were not a business family, a very simple family. So we had nothing, and God, it better do well. We launched it. Critics, now it's not online, but if you could go back and they could research, every critic just completely banned the song. They said, this is terrible. It's a crazy video. I mean, could you believe it? We loved it so much, but this is what people and feedback can do. I said, really? But interestingly, within 24 hours, Dunya debuted at #1 and stayed there for 4 years. So that again was a transition. I became a singer by default. It was just flowing. I became a singer to help my dad, get that recognition as a musician. My drive to be a singer was like, okay, I just love people. So whether I could speak or whether I could sing, and then the music career grew. Interestingly, after that, I had facial paralysis. So, a complete turn of events. But I look back as that being my greatest breakthrough, because breakthroughs, people define them as successful periods in your life. And I think a breakthrough is when you're absolutely down and out, you broken relationship, finances come to a complete zero, because I had to pay back people who'd signed me on, because I was this millennial. I would release this Y2K album, so I was, okay, you're reading everything, and I didn't know what to do. But that's interesting, because today, looking back at that episode, after I've lost my father, that was child's play. You see, that was child's play, because what I'm going through at this point, and I can be so bare and open with you, this is what I'm going through. I mean, that was child's play, because I did not cry too much when I had facial paralysis. Going back to how my parents brought me up, I don't think they ever told me I'm beautiful. Fantastic thing to do for your children. It will shock Indians. What? Because my father told something very interesting to us. He said, you know what, you're kind, you become beautiful. You're loving, you become gorgeous. Happy people are beautiful. He would say all this. It didn't make a difference then. But today I understand it. And I say that to Samaya, because it's so interesting that people are so defined, and they give up on their dreams because they think they don't look a certain way, and they don't have money, and then they're not rich. Like men give up on women that they're in love with, because they think, I don't think she's going to say yes to Rags. I don't think she's, male friends tell me. And I say, no, go and tell her you love her. No, I mean, I don't have a home. And I'm thinking, my goodness, it's just so sad that we've conditioned men to think you've got to be rich to woo a woman. We've conditioned women to think you have to look a certain way to woo a man. And these are the kind of conditions I'm grateful that my parents never put on me. So when I had facial paralysis, it did not bother me that my face was lopsided. It only bothered me that I could not speak, that I had to pay back all the money, that I wasn't working. So that impact on face, not there, no problem. I started working and training to be a fitness instructor. So I said, oh, no big deal. I trained to be a fitness instructor. I realized my friends, well-meaning, everybody is well-meaning, would look at me and say, oh my goodness, what's wrong with your face? So I started spending less time with them. I wasn't bitter. I didn't think that they were out to hurt me, but I just knew I didn't want to be with them, because my emotional muscles were so weak. I wanted to be with children, because they don't care about how you look. So it's so interesting. And I trained to be a kindergarten teacher as well. So I was on some different path, and then it was a journey, of gratitude, and then so much. I give such long answers, Santoshi. See, you've taught me. to speak.
I hear two profound things, so which I'm going to repeat and bring it up. One, that childlike uh, a state where you're not scared, because the multiple examples that you gave about going and telling somebody I love you, or accepting that I can sing this, or doing X number of things you didn't know, but there wasn't a fear.
Yeah.
And I strongly believe that it's not actually possibly the absence of fear where the love for something is more than the fear. I'll give an example of my new pup that I have, the early one, and she is really scared of getting into the car.
Yeah.
She will, hide her face inside my coat, and she's just trembling. She's fearful. But she loves to come with me in the car. While that experience is fearful, she loves my presence.
Yeah. How beautiful. True.
One of the things I learned is that we all will have fears here, there, everywhere. But is there something that I love where, when I compare, the fear is lesser than what I love? That's where I've noticed in you that that's the second thing that you haven't articulated. So here is my analysis. One of the things I've noticed in you, this fearlessness is seen largely uh, in the context of relationships. So I'll give
Mhm.
you an example. You introduced to me once to one of the most popular director in the Bollywood, and he
Raj,
immediately wrote an email back saying that, oh, Rax is introducing, I would love to meet you. And I didn't know what to ask from him, and I never met him. You remember, this is the guy who made these popular movies with Amir Khan.
Three Idiots. Raju. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So somebody in the corporate world or somewhere, people will think twice. Yeah, I'm making an introduction. I don't know what the other guy will think. So that fearlessness and combined with a love to connect people and
Yeah.
make a difference.
But you have taught me that. You have taught me that. And I go back, Santoshji, to it's so important in our world. We are so careful about connecting people. Divide kar diya na, because as children we have learned division. Role number one, role number. We've just been, and in the industry, and I'm sure in the corporate world as well, people are so particular. I just introduce everybody. I said, you want his number? Here you go. And then I said, listen, this is his handphone number. He's very particular. So do not tell that I gave it to you, but go ahead, all the best. And then I guide them. I said, if I cannot help them,
Mm.
just giving a number and connecting them with someone is the least I can do. It's very, very important. But I mean, Raju was, anyways, thrilled to be connecting for
I know he immediately wrote back, I love to meet up with you. And I said, my
and
God, guy.
he's so mindful and thought provoking with whatever he does, so similar to you.
And imagine the kind of movies he makes, and I'm a big fan. And I said, why would I? There wasn't anything for me at that point of time, but that your willingness to feel and connect the dots, and that itself talks about the love for doing that is more powerful than the fear of what might go wrong.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Helped you to go and do that. The second thing I've noticed that while there is fearlessness, but
Mhm.
you always had certain broader values that shaped who you are.
Yeah,
You
I'm
were too
amused.
scared of
Whatever.
wearing a bikini, so there was no fearlessness there, right? So you said, no, no, I don't want to do that. So it's not fear, but you had a certain kind of an identity of who you are.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, we are talking about the typical, right? Being sexy, all of that. Yeah. So people should know this. Uh, you're reading the comments, right? Because I'm focused on you. So I must tell y'all, everybody, because y'all are like this close family, right? Santoshji is amazing in hypnosis. So I'm saying, oh my, I've gotten really close to Santoshji just, and I was getting married and everything. Now, I have this very, very simple, protective life. And Sudhanshu, my beloved husband, was the first person I was sort of intimate with, which is like a joke in the movie industry. All my close friends are like, Rag, oh my God, you can date Rags, maybe just hold her hand, all of that. So all of that they would say. And I would tell Santoshji, why am I like, no, I'm going to be intimate with my husband. It was really very old school, which is great. Why not? I'm not going to bring up Samaya this way, obviously, no chance. But I was like that. Santoshi took me on a beautiful journey and he told me, okay, talk about your idols. And I talked about idols like Michael Jackson, Madonna. And he said, let's go deeper. And so then he talked about a lot of intimate things, went deeper, went deeper, went deeper. Would you all believe it? Santoshi is such a genius. In the hypnosis, I told him, guess who were my idols? Mother Mary and Maria from Sound of Music. Oh my goodness. And it was so interesting that everything I did in my life matched up. I love wearing, tops, which are, even in Mumbai, I would wear polo necks. I was very, very particular about physical relationships. So it's so interesting when you helped me see that. So that's how brilliant you are. It actually helped me. And within minutes, I changed. And then I became so controversial. No.
Yeah, correct.
What changed was it helped me realize why I am so bound by tradition and so bound by, because it was self-created. Also, let's not forget I have such a strict brother. The Punjab.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, so particular.
Yeah, yeah, true. And tell me, one of the things I've also noticed is that we have gone to remote place in Kerala, did that, retreat, and I've seen in you multiple. Where does this, and then you have to move to London, new place, build up the new career, building up on the book. Where does this acceptance, where did you pick that up? Was that from dad? Was it that early thing? So there is an initial acceptance. I haven't, so whenever I talk to a lot of successful people, there is always a bitterness about how people should treat them, how they've been treated. So they carry a little bit of a bitterness about how the world should have been fair to them.
Wow.
Never heard you saying about, yeah, the life was not fair to me, the world was not fair to me, this director was not fair to me, that actor was not fair to me. Where did this whole role of acceptance, which I think is a first step for transition, where did you,
Beautiful.
can you talk about a little bit of your idea on acceptance?
How true. How true. I think I learned it seeing my father. Uh, he defined, it was very important for him to be successful, and that's why my definition of successful is very different from the world. For me, each and every human being, and I every morning, that is a very big part of my prayer, that I treat everybody equally, because each person is a success. And I think we've really gotten ourselves in this web that we have to be successful, these so-called definitions. If you're this, you're successful. If you haven't made so many sales, you're not. If you're part of this company, you're successful. So for me, I'd given up that, because I would see, not that my father would say it, right, because he was a creative, you've seen, always smiling man. But I saw that and I said, I'm not going to go through that anxiety about the world telling me how I should be successful.
Mm.
Also, I learned through my experience, through paralysis, and I got deeply into mindfulness. I realized everybody has a journey, and nobody is bad, nobody is good. We are just moving towards the light on a very spiritual level. So for me, if there was a director who treated me badly or spoke badly or something, I analyzed it in a very interesting way. I think he's had a bad day. Maybe his wife was upset with him. I always analyzed it and I let go, because I knew this is not going to serve me if I keep thinking about it and getting negative and feeling shame, right? Somebody humiliates you. And when you're new, a lot of those experiences happen. But I learned to let go very, very quickly. So I really cannot put my finger on the point when the acceptance happened. But Santoshi, in a simple term, I just see people as children, that we're all
Mm.
masquerading as adults. So
Mm.
if I come across someone who's rude, if I see someone who speaks harshly, then I see them as children who were spoken very harshly to. If I see a man or a woman not comfortable with hugging me and talking lovingly, I realize that's all they know. And as children, probably they were not exposed to that. And it's the quickest way to not judge someone, because the moment you meet an adult who's behaving in a way that's not comfortable, I immediately think this is the best they know. They haven't been exposed to love. They haven't been exposed to that this is a reality that can give good results too. And if you see research with the people who are with foul tempers, it's because they've been exposed to that. Their parents spoke, or the environment was such where they realize that I can only get things done if I humiliate someone, if I raise my voice. So in that way, I sort of started to, and I was a lot into mind power. I still am, right? So with Jack Canfield, all of that, I realized I'm going to think thoughts of perfection. So if I would have to do an advertisement with a director who would have uh, friction, I would instantly start meditating and visualizing. He's very loving, exaggerated. He's loving me. He's hugging me, saying, "Wow, Rags." Even if it wasn't the reality, I would think of it so deeply that within 24 hours, the next day, the man would change. And this, is the truth, because we're vibrational beings. If we are fearful, and I think Santoshi is going to get mad at me, I will attract the reasons where you will get mad at me. So the acceptance
Love
came
that dialogue
slowly.
some years ago.
Hanji?
Should
Sorry.
have said that some years ago. So anyway, whatever you said in the last few minutes, one person, if he had heard this, would be most happy, would be Trump. Right?
But Santoshji, I think
Child, that
people like you,
anger.
people like you and me, and this is important. People like you and me should be with someone like Trump. While because you're evolved enough to know, I see people who really good speakers, really good mindfulness coaches like Trump. No, no, no way. I'm like, no, you have to understand. This is what he thinks works. Give the genius his due. He won when he knew he would. uh, there are in everybody we can think of positives. He's kept the family together. He's amazing with all his ex-wives. There's a lot to learn. I feel there's a lot to learn from everybody, and the problem the most in the world is we are so quick to judge, and negatively. And I think the moment we let go, now I'm not judging anyone negatively. I've let go of that. So
Yeah.
when someone judges someone negatively, I'm thinking, what can I think of positive thing? Good tie, good shoes, very good fingers. Oh,
Good
and
hair.
yeah. So it it
Yeah.
helps you. It helps you instantly. I wish people could understand this simple thing. The more and more I think about, my goodness, what my grandmother would say, my grandfather would say, what my parents would say. My goodness, they were geniuses. They knew what. Now suddenly leadership, right? You're the guru and I follow your cues. We talk about leadership and I said, well, it's amazing. I mean, Gita has said that, the Holy Quran has said that, the Bible has said that leadership is like parenting. Now today Simon Sinek says that and people say, oh my God. I'm like, no, listen, Panchatantra knew this hundreds of years ago, that leadership is like parenting. I give you all my love. I never make you feel bad, because I know if I make you feel bad, you'll never perform in a good way. I give you the freedom to make mistakes. I give you all the nurturing, all the trust. Here we are asking our employees to trust us, because we put up these events, right? They call geniuses like you, speak to our employees, and then we have, okay, who can we let go? Who can we take down? So it's very interesting how I view life differently now.
So here you talking about acceptance, and now I have another question, because acceptance is the first step for managing transition. But there is another thing that you have done very well. After having accepted the current situation and the moment, you have adjusted and adapt and learned. My God, author now, a parenting coach, mindfulness facilitator, or a DJ, VJ, actor, singer. Is there anything that you can't do? Like,
A lot.
how
Well,
do you
I would.
just figure out things and adapted based on the situation? What helps? How can people do that? People keep thinking.
Well, Santoshi, how beautifully you had immediately caught, my personality trait. It's never depth of knowledge, breadth of knowledge. So for me, you would tell me that beautifully. So for me, I love doing different things, and
Mm,
I love learning.
mm,
I love people, and I genuinely feel that I'm never intimidated by people who know. I love to sit with you and then learn and grow. So when I got married, I really wanted to show up as a really good partner. I wanted to. I wasn't concerned about how Sudhanshu would be. I wanted to show up as the best life partner, and and so before I wanted to have Samaya, and she was such a miracle baby. I really was, anyways, into mindfulness, into mindpa, into understanding that we're such a product of early child development, that 0 to 7 is so crucial. So I read up a lot on Panchatantra, on Chanakya Niti, and then now Harvard research and science research proves that 0 to 7. So all of us as adults are trying to change our personalities, not knowing that we're hardwired. And if we've missed that window of love when we were young, we'll keep looking for it in life as we grow older, unless we meditate and go back into that meditative state, because children were such. So for me, my learning comes only because I really love to learn. The breadth of
mm,
knowledge, the depth of knowledge, I'm getting there. But like I said, I'm going with the flow. And I'm also, whatever life gives me, I couldn't have a career. It's thanks to you. You showed me the path when I came to London, because you see, Sudhanshu is a barrister. He knew nobody who could help me in my work. So I actually knew nobody. But I also wanted to have a profession, to have my own identity, my own expression. I wanted to be in London because I knew that if Samaya is born here, and which she was, I wanted to be here and show up as a mother. The ideas that I had, not necessarily right. It's just my choice. I wanted to be present for her. And and then that was brilliant. What you guided me to get into mindfulness, go get into the corporate space. And it was baby steps, one step at a time. And I wanted to show up with someone who, learned. And I think a degree can never ever teach you how to be
mm,
a healer, a mindfulness speaker. It's your own experiences, because what works for you may not work for Aditi or not work for Shilpa. I have to meet them personally, and then they get exposed to many ideas and say, oh wow, this works for me, or this works for Nabila. Assalamu alaikum, Nabila. So you see, it came it came by default. I'm just open to life. I say a lot of yeses in my life. I say no very rarely, Santoshi. But I learned that from you. I
thank
learned
you.
that from you.
So I saw that the first step about acceptance, that we anyway keep talking in the mindfulness space, which is still okay. But the second step that you try to brush away and share as if it is so easy, is about your learning and about what you have done to rebuild yourself each time. London is not an easy city for a newcomer to go and establish yourself.
Yes,
Now, when
absolutely.
we speak, I hear you saying, oh, I was there, I'm doing a class there, and I went and did there. So, one, of course, the learning that helped, and second, possibly your knack of building a relationship, being true to the relationships, building that network that helped. But other than that, I think there is a strong energy of which I say you have an energy to move a mountain. When you've decided, you can really uh, almost like a very, very strong thing about having a dream. I remember this discussion about London books, and people all love to write their book. People all love to go and do some work with the corporate world. People all love to rebuild themselves, and we know that it's not easy.
Yes.
But I have seen you with dedication, with discipline, things that I don't have. I can keep dreaming about things,
Oh
but
no.
even I wanted to put that into the steps and practice. And you have just made things work for you.
Well, it's just as you beautifully, always guided me. I was never ever stressed that I have to do it. I enjoyed the journey. Very early on, I realized that I must have an infinite mindset. So a
Mm.
finite mindset is I have to do this and I have to do this at this stage or this year. 6 years back, I came here with nothing. I did not have any knowledge about how to film myself. So baby steps. I started to, write content and film my little videos because I realized I was a people's person and people may not necessarily want to meet me because they don't know me. So how do I send my energy across to them? So I would never write letters. I would always send videos because I learned that from this amazing book I read where Richard Branson is concerned. And he would say that I don't want, written CVs. I just want video CVs because I want to check the energy of the person. And this is the future. If there's one thing that y'all must remember, it's the future is your energy. So build on that. So for me, I would just film videos, not even knowing if they would open them, and the video would tell me this is what I do. I want to do this. This is what I, specialize in. And this is, I had my facial paralysis, and that's when my learning happened. I did my Tibetan yoga. And so I would just talk about that in video. I realized, hey, why don't I just make videos and just post it instead of posting cool pictures always on Facebook? And Facebook was big there. Now I've just joined Instagram because people started knocking on my head and said, join Instagram. I'm like, okay. But I never take that pressure. I do where I can be honest. I still never follow how many followers I have. People say, oh, this is dropping. I said, don't, do not. It does not matter to me at all. Come and listen to me. Tell me what's working, what's not. That's important for me. Buying followers, no, not at all. I don't even know. Why should you follow me? Visit my page whenever you feel like. I better be good. I better, value your time and I can be of some service. So I look at it very differently, but it was baby steps, Santoshji, baby steps, one step at a time. It's just like the bamboo tree, as they say. I
Yeah,
didn't see anything for 5 years, but I just kept watering it.
I remember.
So say people tell me, oh, nothing happens, and I said, just remember that bamboo tree beautiful story. They gave the bamboo seeds to everybody, and they said, just keep watering. And people gave up because they saw nothing. Like, what? Nothing's happening. But that's how a bamboo tree is. Nothing happens for the first 5 years, and boom, it just shoots up. So I saw a lot of things coming together the last year. The book also, it's very difficult to write, with a toddler,
I know.
because and I look after Samaya. I don't have a carer. I only had a carer when I was in Mumbai to meet my mother and my father when my father was ill. But
By the way,
otherwise,
I did speak to that caregiver lady.
yes, Marlena, of course. Marissa, yes, Marissa and Marlena, of course. So it's so interesting that, you know, I somehow managed it. But that's why I love my 4 a.m. I love my mornings. So I did most of my work, as in writing emails to various corporates, uh, filming my videos. I've done them early mornings or when she would go to the kindergarten. I would micromanage my day because I also love to cook. I'm a home person. I'm a very simple, you know that. I love to make my curd rice, my sambar rice,
Mm.
and my non-veg, both of them, my children. I love. So I love that as well, and that fuels me because essentially I'm looking for no great awards. I want my definition of success to be, hey, you're a success. You're a success. Without anything, you're a success.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. So that took me time to learn, but it's so liberating. And that's what
Mm.
we must do to our children, with our children. You're a success. Forget about this because aap jante hain, our personal clients who come on one-on-one, my goodness, all of them are coming in Maserati cars. They have penthouses. Like, hey, you have completed and conquered all those definitions, and you are still disturbed, depressed, anxious, nervous, unhappy. So it's for everybody to know the biggest superstars in India go through anxiety, go through depression, go through feeling unsure. So there's something that our schools are not teaching children, not done it right.
Now that we have been speaking for a while, and I also am mindful that you have a hard stop and you have another session. And I thought that could be a right time maybe to get one or two questions, though they've been, sharing stuff. Yes.
But may I ask you a question, right? Because Santoshi, I do this episode every Monday. I do a show called Mindful Mondays for India Today and Fit Tuck, and it's really, really popular. So it was just amazing that have the opportunity to speak with this mind guru, because you just transform companies, transform corporates. What are the 3 points? Because a whole lot of people want to change their personality. They keep asking me, I want to let go of my temper. I want to be a better wife. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better parent. How can I be much more calmer, more happier, etc., etc.? What are the 3 points you would tell someone who's struggling to really make that change, that change?
You should have told me about this question that you are going to ask some difficult questions before. But whatever comes in my mind now, this change could happen in multiple levels. So a lot of time when people want to have a change, they're talking about a change at a behavioral level. So I keep getting angry and shouting at my wife, and she get pissed off. So I still don't want to love her, but I don't want to shout at her. So that's a behavioral change. That's easy. People say breathe 10 times. So there are techniques, which is so figure out there is internet and things are all full of things about how can you change a behavior, but that's not real change. Because that
Wow.
guy still have anger. Now he doesn't get angry to his wife because he's been told by a coach that anger when it comes, take 3 deep breath, and like any kind of a socialite in Gurgaon, say, oh, you are awesome. Right? Whenever a socialite tell me I'm awesome, I know that there is nothing awesome about me. But then that guy goes and kick the pet dog or something because anger is still there.
Wow.
It is a beautiful emotion. I think biggest challenge in change is about identity. That's what you have dealt with. So many a time people say that, okay, I wanted to have self-awareness. I said, you can't have self-awareness because you can't use self to figure out self. See, for studying, you got to be, I can watch you, but if I am you, how can I watch you? I need to be out. So when people talk about self-awareness, what generally we are talking is about our identity, the way we have defined. And when there is a shift in identity, that's what called transformation. Though we say I've transformed myself. So self word is a bit confusing. Uh, so what is an identity? The first identity that we have is called a gender identity. The kids within a couple of months, you would have noticed your baby get a sense that, oh, I'm a girl and that guy is a boy. We all went through that identity. Then comes, oh, I'm kind, I'm smart, because we keep hearing, oh, she's so cute. Look at the way she smiles. She's a charmer. We keep hearing this. The kids have an identity. So there is another kid who doesn't have the identity of a charmer who wanted to be an identity of a crying baby. See, you heard her crying right now. So, we develop this identity that gets stuck, then something called social identity.
Yeah.
So there could be somebody who say that as a man, we had a big brand called Angry Young Man. Amitabh got all his movies because he could get angry. Right? If he was not getting angry, people won't pay that time. So that was an identity, that angry young man, and his movies failed when he was neither angry nor young. Sometimes, right? So we all get into this identity. So what happens is the moment I say, this is my identity, I'm saying that's not my identity.
Great.
Which means if I am kind, I'm not cruel. If I'm loving, I'm not that. So the moment you say yes to an identity, you're saying no to another identity.
Yeah.
That's where the shift. So we can realize even this identity is not real. That's what I picked up from here and there. If I was born in some other place, in some other situation, so instead of my parents telling me that I'm a smart kid, if they had told me that I'm a lousy kid, and when my teacher told me first time I'm lousy, I would say, oh yeah, my parents used to say, now the teacher is also saying. And then when the first time when I meet a girl, she said, why are you clumsy? Then I will hear it as a lousy because I am lousy is there in my identity. Like
Wow.
build on. So when people talk about profound transformation, I tell them that let's figure out your identity as you are perceived as both self-identity and social identity. And there's nothing wrong. It serves you, like in the case of Amitabh, when he was angry and young, it worked from the war onwards, because after the emergency, there was a lot of anger in the youngsters in India.
Mm.
And they can't get angry to authority figure, but Amitabh will get angry in the movie, so I can pay for it. I can't get angry. Let this guy get angry and I'll feel happy about it. So all our identities support, help us in dealing with some situation and will not support us in dealing with another situation.
Beautiful.
So whenever I say yes to something, I'm also saying no to something. So the profound shift happened when I realized even this identity that I'm holding so close to me is just fake. It's nothing. I can choose. From that space, we may be able to deal with anger the way I behave with somebody at a deeper level. So I feel that unless we connect with each other at an intent level, you can never judge me with my behavior, because otherwise there is an identity that, okay, I am a facilitator, I'm a coach, I should only talk like this. And you know, some of these coaches, the moment you tell them, oh yeah, yeah, almost like they're having an orgasm or something. I said, relax, man. I'm just talking to you. You don't have to put in a coach identity. Just hear me out. So we feel that this identity is right and this identity is wrong. Every identity helps us to succeed in certain time, and every identity will make us fail. But what if we realize this and learn, I'm not this, I can choose now.
So you do think mindfulness is key there, where
That's where it is.
self-observation is concerned.
That's where it is connecting, because most people get very confused with the word mindfulness because the word itself is confusing. It says that mind is full, right?
Full, correct?
It is completely full. And I always ask the question, mindful about what?
Yeah.
Because the word itself has no standing.
Yeah.
Without realizing mindful about what? Mindful about that this particular behavior is coming out from my deep-rooted identity that I am the smartest kid in the room, and why, how could somebody ask me a question like that? And I ever need each meeting to come up with something which sounds so tough words, but even I don't know, the corporate world full of people will, they'll start talking like, okay, let's look at this problem from multiple perspective. Let's step back and take a pause. That bloody fellow doesn't know what he's talking. But that identity is all about, I need to be the smartest guy in the room.
Better be, exactly. I
But
better
that
be.
identity is not there.
That pressure.
Have that identity. That identity is good. There's an acceptance of that identity. There's an acceptance of my identity where I'm clumsy many a time. I have a big problem with technology stuff. I don't understand. I still not drive. I hated driving. And I'm okay with that identity. And then, so mindfulness really help us, because mindfulness is all about asking question, mindful about what? Mindful about my identity, mindful about my behavior, mindful about what is triggering this now, mindful about this wonderful things that's happening, mindful about this overall vibration in which I am a single person who is aligned with the overall thing.
So it's basically just stepping out of your own persona and just observing yourself. And then that probably could be a beautiful conduit to sort
Yeah,
of start
Buddhists talk about witnessing the witness.
witnessing the witness. Yeah.
Yeah, it is one way to do that.
Love.
Or not. That's also an acceptance. Or not, I'm not able to do that all the time. So sometimes people call me, say, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to wake up every day morning and nothing happening. And I'm fighting. So I have a great advice to them. Don't fight from tomorrow. When you realize that I'm not able to wake up, I'm not able to do, instead of thinking about it, say that I have given permission to myself not to wake up. Choice is still yours then.
Yeah.
That's the first step. I have given permission to myself to be clumsy and lousy. Now, good. Now you know I can give permission to do something else then.
Something else. So I wonder what you would say to Mel Robbins, who has the 5 second rule: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just get out of bed.
That's right.
That-
Yeah. So I'm saying the moment I say I am unable to,
yeah.
then my
Now,
identity is I'm helpless. Shift that first. Even this helplessness is a learned helplessness. What if I have given permission to myself to be this? Then I know it's me who is choosing, me who can give permission. I could give permission to do something else.
fabulous. So you put yourself in a place of power.
I call itself that are you the cause or are you the effect?
Correct. Yeah. Beautiful.
Being cause in the matter. So I am the cause. I'm not the effect. I cause laziness. I cause jealousy. I cause hatred. Part of me. But I choose to. Then I can choose to change. But if I'm operating from a helplessness stage, I can't shift it. I can keep blaming and blaming and blaming and blaming. Long
Brilliant. Thank you. Thank you so much. Shall
Okay,
we?
couple of things. Let me read Susmita, what she's written. Transition begins with an ending. Wow. The fight transition, not because we don't want it and can't accept the change, but because we can't accept letting go of certain parts of ourselves. Wow. Because the situation has changed. Very beautifully put. You are also, I never knew that you can write like a poet, Susmita. Raga, what part of yourself, be it your identity or otherwise, you had to give up to accept your new phase of life and how easy or difficult it was. Beautiful. Yeah. What she says is that we always have a problem of letting go on one part. When you adapt a new part, is there something of letting go of one part which we need to hold on? Or have you felt that you are to let go of one part when you embraced and accepted other parts in your identity?
I never thought of it as letting go. I just thought of it as evolution and growth, and it's a journey. It's almost like if I'm traveling to Mumbai, I can afford to travel light, and if I'm traveling to Switzerland, I better carry all the jumpers and all the parka jackets I may need. So in the same way, when I had facial paralysis, in fact, it was a transition that helped me to realize I had to let go of these kind of trappings of the film industry. When I shifted into London, by God's grace and your good wishes, Sudhanshu is doing so well. But I let go of these, trappings of I must have a car, and I got into walking. I got into running the home on my own. So these very minuscule, inconsequential things, and the pandemic. I mean, what an amazing place. We cannot come out of this pandemic without changing. One of the greatest things, surrender. Because the moment you surrender things you cannot change, that's when acceptance automatically happens. That's when adaptability. You have to realize, I don't want to be strong all the time. I just want to be really soft, easy. Because you look at when the asteroid hit the planet millions of years ago, it wasn't the dinosaurs that survived, right?
Mm.
Well,
Yes.
it were the species that could be flexible, that could flow, that could surrender. So at most of the times, if there are things that are not going, you've done everything you can, surrender. I believe in the law of divine compensation. I believe the universe will bring you what. And if you look back on your life as well, the greatest stresses you had were always only in your mind, you
True.
know.
True. True.
So I let go of things, not thinking, oh, I'm letting go. I'm like, hey, this is growth. I don't need. And let me tell you, I mean, this year has been amazingly for growth. And when you lose a parent, of course everything changes. It's the greatest impact. But
Mm.
even before Papa had crossed over, you know I've become so minimalistic, Santoshji. People see me, I have 4 jumpers. They are mostly cream. I have couple of blazers, cream. I've given up everything. I've such a small wardrobe. People may think otherwise because they look crisp and I wash and iron them and everything, but I've become minimalistic. And that's what the pandemic, what is it that we're chasing? Because what is it that you need? You, the greatest desire, if you peel all the layers, you want the money, you want to be the CEO, you want to be more successful, you want to have the perfect wife, the perfect husband, the perfect children, and all the stresses. Ultimately, it's about, I feel valued, I feel accepted the way I am. And it's so basic. We don't allow children that luxury, right? Hey,
Yeah.
listen, I accept you the way you are if you're naughty. I accept you the way you are if you're bad in math. I accept you the way you are if you're not performing well in school. I accept you the way you are. You're a genius for me. So I do that with Samaya. As long as she's kind, I just want her to be kind and I want her to be safe. So I don't allow her to play on the roads. But other than that, very few rules. Sorry. And so we were talking about letting go. So
Yeah.
I let go. I've kept my life very simple. I have let go. I'm just happy with, good food on the table. I'm happy that I have lovely relations, such beautiful friends. I have you in my life. I want to do everything I can for my family to honor Papa, to honor my elders, to honor people. He said such beautiful things, and I'm so sorry. I'm constantly, because he's in my spirit and my vibe. He said people will forget what you wear, what you say. People will forget everything, but they'll never forget how you made someone feel.
True.
So,
Wow.
so
That is,
that's what I'm concerned about, and that has helped me in my career at all times.
yeah.
So I personally feel there's going to be no money in the next 10 years. It'll all be barter with relationships. What can you do for me? Can you cook for me? Can you do this? Can you? I think it's all going to be that. We're giving too much importance to money.
I agree. And I love that statement that you made last, that people might forget how you looked and what you wore, but people are going to remember how you made them feel,
Feel.
because feeling is the only real thing. Because I can feel.
Yes.
So
Yes.
somebody has this philosopher who said, "As a man thinketh, so is he." That fellow possibly have never experienced a mosquito bite, because then he would have thought, as a man feel, so is he. Feeling is much more powerful than thinking. Right? He can keep thinking about it, but at the end of the day, it's just this feeling that just shift people.
Yes, and you see that's the biggest problem even in our education system,
Yeah.
right? Because long-term memory is so associated with emotions and feeling, and
Correct.
that's what education system was all about, fear-inducing, because that was the easiest emotion they could give, right? Very quickly, darao bachon ko. That's how they would learn, and that's why we don't remember much of what we studied in schools, uh, and that has to change. And so I love children, and I see adults as children. So for me, that's really really important to connect with the child in people. And it's so interesting because it life becomes simpler. Life becomes
Correct.
simpler.
There are too many of the text messages. That's what I'm not reading, but you should have a look at it. It's incredible, and people are just sharing about how grateful they are, how lovely, how
We
your
are grateful.
energy
Thank
is
you.
traveling all the way from London, and here we can feel how positive
Wow.
vibration. And I think everybody loved the session. And thank you so much. I know you have a session, and I'm a Vela, and I'm saying that you are a wise one, and I
We
always say
would all love to be Velas like you.
I always say that some are wise and some are otherwise. You are a wise one.
Oh, not at all. Learning, still on a journey. Long way to go. Long way to go.
Great having you here. We should do this more often. We'll do a series now.
Let's do this.
Yeah,
Let's do
like
it.
what we were waiting to do this as a retreat, we should do an online format now.
I don't mind, and I think Santoshi, we should do this as a weekend thing. And you remember everybody was talking about extramarital affairs. They were talking about. I mean, we've got very intricate questions
Let's
that
talk
we need
about.
to
Yeah,
sort out.
yeah. And let's get to the next time an interesting bunch of maybe somebody else. And we should plan. How do you take this forward? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Santoshi.
You
Thank you.
you have a contagious energy. I'm not going to tell everybody what otherwise I say. What was that? But the easy one is contagious energy.
Seductive seductively persuasive.
So seductively persuasive.
Because whenever I would text Santoshi if I would need him to help me somewhere, so I would always write to Santoshi, are you have you had time to look at my request? And so I would always write this, and he would say, "You're very seductively persuasive." And all I would say is, Satoshi, have you had time to look at my message? But coming back to our topics, people have been wanting to know about divorce, about extramarital affairs, about being broke, about relationships, about just handling life, handling anxiety. So this is what, if you all really want us to do that, then just attack Santoshi so we have his time.
Yeah.
And probably a topic a week,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then,
We'll just figure out a topic
a
and
topic
then.
on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Santosh. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everybody.
Santosh. It was
Bye bye.
awesome.
Bye, Ravi.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All
ma'am.
these
Thank you,
Thank you,
Santosh.
Santosh and
Thanks.
Raga. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raga.
Thank you, Raga. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Santosh.
Take
Thank you,
care.
Raga.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye.
where are all these wonderful faces hidden?
I know now I can see one by one everybody's video. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Thanks a lot for the session. It was wonderful, and hopefully we'll catch up again.
Yeah,
It
Jacob.
was lovely listening to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Much
Okay.
appreciated. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thanks a lot for the session. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. So much. Wonderful session.
Thank you so much. How lovely. How kind is our room.
I know it's beautiful. Yeah.
So
Thank you, Santoshi. Thank you, Raga.